Antarctica is the 5th largest continent on Earth, and the one with the fewest people. It is a barren snowfield broken only by towering gray mountains, which loom on the Antarctic horizon like the stone ruins of an ancient city. Wind speeds often exceed 14 miles an hour and blow up so much snow that visibility can drop to near zero. The temperature, on average, drops below negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It was colder than that at Barrett Station, an American research facility, on May 8, 1965. The last day physicist Carl Disch was ever seen alive, or dead. Carl had been working on research at the radio noise building that morning. The building was one of many that circled the main structure of the station. They were all connected by a guiding line, a strong cord that served to help researchers move from one building to the other without getting lost due to the poor visibility, which was often due to the snow and high winds. It was around a mile away, and Carl had followed the line many times. However, when he stepped out into the howling wind after radioing that he was heading over, he disappeared. The trip should have taken him around 30 minutes. So after an hour had passed, a group was formed to go out and help Carl. They followed the guide line, but didn't find his footprints until almost back at the radio building. This is where the mystery began, with those footprints. They broke off from the route back to the main base and instead headed to the landing area. The rescue crew followed the trail for 4 miles, but about halfway to the landing pad, the footsteps abruptly stopped. There was nothing around them. They ended up halfway through an empty snowfield between the building and the pad. His fellow crew members were baffled. To put it in perspective, there was nothing for miles that Carl could have hidden behind or under. His footprints were still visible, so that would mean the snowfall hadn't been enough to cover them. If they could still see the prints, then they should still be able to see Carl in the snow, in the event that he had some sort of attack or had fallen over. However, other than the footprints, the ground all around showed no signs of struggle, no drag marks, nothing. It was as if some god had reached down and plucked him out of existence. A massive search was launched, but ended up spanning over 35 miles around the base. At one point, searchers formed a human chain and walked the entire length from the radio tower to the landing area. Carl Disch was gone. A few days after the search ended, his husky, Gus, also disappeared. Years later, a lonely patch of Antarctica was named after him, Disch Promontory. What could have happened to Carl? What would have made him throw safety to the wind and break procedure? What could he have seen on that landing pad? Theories abound. One cannot rule out the possibility that Carl had suffered some medical ailment, something that came on him suddenly or was undiagnosed. Possibly Carl could have suffered a seizure brought on by cold-induced reflex epilepsy. It's a rare disorder that can be triggered by sudden and drastic temperature changes. Why would it trigger then, on a trip that Carl had made dozens of times before? It cannot be certain. That would explain his abandonment of the guideline, as people recovering from seizures are often confused and disoriented. While some unknown medical issues are popular among skeptics as a reason, they fail to explain much of the mystery. Some think that Carl simply went out a little mad. Antarctica is uninhabited. The nearest other group of humans were hundreds of miles away. That kind of isolation can do something awful to a person. Cabin fever can cause extreme irritability, which can impact decision-making. Enough for Carl to choose a cold death over another day with the same people? Who can say? That wouldn't explain the lack of a body. For that reason, people turn to the idea that Carl was actually a double agent for the Russians. In 1965, the Cold War was still in full swing, and both the United States and Russia were desperate for an edge on the other. Could Carl have been sent to Byrd Station to steal U.S. secrets? This could be a possible explanation for why Carl was heading to the landing pad. With his mission done, he had to go there for extraction. The prevailing theory within the UFO community is that Carl was abducted by beings not of this world. They cite that the days before Carl's disappearance and for weeks after, strange lights were seen over the sky above Byrd Station. Then there's that name, Byrd. In a strange coincidence, the station shares a name with Admiral Richard Byrd, a man famous in relation to Antarctica. Byrd was the first American to launch scientific expeditions to the frozen continent. He discovered Mount Sibley, one of the 7 volcanic summits, which are comprised of the tallest volcanoes on Earth. Byrd is also one of the main sources used by proponents of the hollow Earth theory. They claim that when Byrd went into Antarctica, he discovered a hole in the ice, a hole so massive that he was able to fly down into it and was transported to a hidden world inside the Earth. Byrd is claimed to have detailed all of this in his own private writings. It has long been speculated that alien aircraft actually fly in and out of this hole, which would explain the strange lights seen in the sky. It could also pose a possible answer as to what happened to Gus, Carl's dog. The beings Admiral Byrd encountered had not been hostile but friendly. It could have been that they took Carl for some unknowable reason, and in order to bring him some comfort, retrieved his loyal pet. Hey, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed my work and want to show some support, I deeply appreciate it. My books can be found on Amazon. I do have a Patreon as well as a Ko-Fi at Ari Brewster. You can find me in all the usual places. Links below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm out. I'm so